Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to another track comparison, and the last track comparison before Lights Out in Austria, as next Wednesday will be the last driver rivalries, and then on Wednesday, the 24th of June, the usual Wednesday slot, Fantasy's back.
It's back.
It's back.
Again.
Again, yes, because we were like, it was back in January, February, March, I don't know. We said it was back.
And now it's back again.
Now it's back. It's actually back. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about track comparisons. So if you're new around here and haven't had a track comparison video already, what we do is pretty similar to our driver rivalries, is we compare our stats of the two tracks, and we give some interesting facts about it as well, and then we rate the tracks on technical difficulty, our favourite qualifying lap, the best race in our opinion, what we thought was at the circuit, and the race highlights. Now obviously, both being young fans, some of those highlights may be a little bit kind of more recent than others, but I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. And then obviously, as always, we love to hear from you guys in the comments down below on what track comes out on top. And I've waffled long enough, and without actually mentioning the tracks, you saw it in the thumbnail, the UK track of Silverstone, the kind of traditional British Grand Prix versus an absolute classic in Suzuka. Both have kind of, the Japanese Grand Prix and British Grand Prix have been held at different venues, but these are the main two, and these are absolute classics on the calendar. Obviously, the first ever race was held at Silverstone with 70 years, and we, again, like Austria and Hungary, Silverstone obviously race 4 and 5 on the calendar for this year's 2020 season. It's going to be exciting having back-to-back. But
oh yeah,
we're going to compare now. So we start off with the stats. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Silverstone's up first. Here's your stats.
Okay, so as mentioned, Silverstone was introduced in 1950. It's held 53 races there. The most successful driver, which he may be mentioned quite a few times in this episode, is Lewis Hamilton on 6 wins. The last winner there was Lewis Hamilton. Track length is 5.891 kilometres. Number of laps is 52. The fastest lap is held by Lewis Hamilton with a 1:27.369. And the attendance is 150,000. The capacity attendance, I should say.
Right, now it's my turn. Suzuka, here we go. So Suzuka had its first proper Grand Prix on the calendar in 1987 and has hosted 32 races. Its most successful driver there is Michael Schumacher, winning a few titles there actually. It's often been a title decider actually in the past, Suzuka. The last winner there was Valtteri Bottas. The track length is 5.807 kilometres. Number of laps are 53, so pretty similar in terms of track length and number of laps. And the fastest lap, Lewis Hamilton, at 1:30.983. And its attendance, or capacity shall we say, is 155,000. So, as you've heard there, the stats, things are pretty similar in terms of kind of track length and sort of laps. So it's quite a similar sort of two circuits to compare, I think we like, and both have renowned sections of the track that are technically difficult to perform on. And that moves us into our first category, which is technical difficulty. And hand over to you, Stephen, first. Technical difficulty of Silverstone.
I'm going to put it as moderate. It's very quick, but it's not too challenging. I'd say the most challenging part is probably Magnussen and Beckett's, I think it's fair to say, whose high-speed S's, or S. And yeah, I'd put it as moderate. Very, very quick. It's very fun to drive. That's a category we put in last time with Austria. Love driving it. Love driving Silverstone. But I put it as moderate technical difficulty.
Yeah, I think definitely, unlike the F1 games, Silverstone is definitely one of my favourites, which moves us on to the technical difficulty of Suzuka, and that is definitely hard. I would say outside of the street circuits, Suzuka is definitely one of the most challenging circuits on the calendar. Just for the start, turns 1 and 2 is really difficult taking the line. Then obviously those elevated S section through Suzuka, going through there. 130R is not as challenging as what it used to, but I still think Suzuka is just such a tough circuit, and it probably feels good to really perform well there. And it's just the braking points. Always, I think, if we're breaking our driving experience of it, and I hate driving Suzuka. Despise it with a passion, because it's just such a difficult circuit to drive on. And yeah, I would say it definitely beats Silverstone in terms of technical difficulty.
Yeah.
That moves us on to best qualifying lap at the circuit. And you've said Lewis Hamilton quite a lot in this video so far, Stephen.
I'm not going to say him anymore.
No?
No. But my best qualifying lap has got to be Lewis Hamilton. As we said at the start, my highlights are quite recent, because that's when I've been into F1. You may have, it's been there the entire time, 1950, as we said, 53 races. You're bound to have some highlights of your own. See those in the comments. But my qualifying highlight is the 2007 British Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton's rookie season. It wasn't his first pole lap, but it was a great pole lap. His first time at Silverstone. A sign of things to come, his dominance at Silverstone, I think it's fair to say.
Well, most successful driver there. So yeah. It was great to do it in his rookie season, and the British Grand Prix is always a really special one to Lewis Hamilton. And obviously, yeah, it's his most successful, well, it's not his most successful track, but he's the most successful driver there in the British Grand Prix history, which is pretty impressive to have. I promise this is not just a Lewis Hamilton loving video, but mine is also, so you've had the first qualifying, well, his first pole at Silverstone. It wasn't his first was at Canada, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm going for Lewis Hamilton's 80th pole position, which was in 2018 at Suzuka. And it was a mix actually between two. 2017 and 2018 were right on the kind of brink. I think in 2017 he broke the lap record there as well. But both really great qualifying laps from Lewis Hamilton. And I think it shows just how the cars have developed. And although the racing hasn't improved, these modern cars are starting to kind of get ahead of where the 2004 cars were. Because in a few of these track comparisons, it's been fastest lap, 2004 Ferrari or Williams of some sort, because the cars were great that year. But no, honestly, it was a great lap by Lewis Hamilton around Suzuka, and yeah, he is the best qualifier statistically of all time. So no doubt,
not to pick.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt, there's going to be some pretty good ones, and we've just matched it today. But anyway, we move on to best race. So best race, Silverstone. Does it involve Lewis Hamilton?
We're not going to say his name anymore.
Lewis Hamilton.
I got to go for it. The 2008 Silverstone Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton. There were a couple of others, but it was dominant. It was a dominant display in the rain from him. Everyone else was slipping and sliding, apart from a few. But he was flying, and he was flying in the right direction, unlike people like Massa. Yes.
Leandra, I hope you're not watching.
I'm sorry. But is like my qualifying was a sign of things to come from Lewis at dominance at Silverstone. This was just to show how good he was in the rain. And the performance he's had since in the rain.
And his first ever victory at Silverstone as well.
It was almost like a Senna-esque, Schumacher-esque. It was great. Our last week's classic review was the Donington 1993. And that was just Senna Masterclass. 2008 British Grand Prix. Lewis Masterclass. It's quality.
It was a great performance, and obviously we've only just recently rewatched that one, and it was crazy because Barrichello was quick and it was full wet conditions, But Lewis Hamilton had still kind of built up like a minute gap on intermediates where everyone else, and there was only one notable real mistake that compared to everyone else wasn't really a mistake. It was a great drive from him there. I'm cheating on the best race because I'm picking 3 because it's kind of a trilogy between Prost and Senna. Suzuka became a real flashpoint in their rivalry, I would say. 1988, Senna wins his first world title and probably the best race out of the 3. But you can only really watch highlights of that race rather than watching the full race. So it's difficult. I've only been able to watch highlights of it. But Senna, I believe, lost a gear or was having engine issues, but still managed to kind of work his way through the field and overtake Alain Prost late on in the race. 1989, another classic race review that we'd had. Obviously, that infamous incident that then led to Alain Prost claiming the 1989 world title. And then, obviously, 1990 was turn 1, where Senna had no intention of making the corner. He just took Prost out. So, yeah, I suppose probably for the race that wasn't great. But yeah, you kind of feel Suzuka, it always kind of encapsulates the rivalry between Prost and Senna for me.
The drama.
Indeed.
I love it.
So now it's like they didn't quite make the best race, but they're highlights worthy of note. So, Silverstone highlights, Stephen. Hit me with them.
This is a personal one for both of us. 2018.
Yeah, I was there. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember. Yeah, for 2018, our first Grand Prix we attended in person was Silverstone.
Yeah. Funnily enough, one in recent times that actually wasn't won by Lewis Hamilton. It was won by Sebastian Vettel.
Oh yeah, because Lewis spun out. I'm trying to think. Turn 3.
Yeah, maybe not put that on Lewis. Maybe more on Kimi Räikkönen.
Lewis will spin him.
Kimi.
I remember there were quite a few British fans, die-hard Lewis fans that weren't best pleased with that. We were wearing our Ferrari and Red Bull shirts, like, woo! And we didn't cheer.
No, we definitely didn't cheer. Lewis. But he did remarkable to come back in that race.
Yes, it was a great comeback drive.
So it was impressive. But yeah, it was a brilliant highlight. Of your first Grand Prix is always a special one. And yeah, Silverstone home Grand Prix, it was a great experience.
Yeah. That was a personal one, maybe a more comical one. 2003 British Grand Prix. Just had a protester running onto the track trying to get hit by a car.
Well, I don't think he was intending to get hit by a car, but he basically brought out a safety car from it that led to a bizarre thing at the time of, I think both Toyotas at the time ended up leading the Grand Prix because, well, first and second, due to teams having to double stack in pit stops and losing time. It chaotically affected the race that Rubens Barrichello went on to win. But yeah, it's just one of those bizarre scenes. And like going, even if you're protesting, you're mental running as an F1 car going down a straight. What is wrong with you? But it's an iconic moment, certainly.
Yeah.
That your highlights?
Over to you.
Over to me. Highlight number 1, 1998. Mika Häkkinen's first title after coming out on top in the first trilogy of rivals. You can tell I just like the trilogy of rivals between guys. But Häkkinen and Schumacher is one of my favourite rivalries. In 1998, obviously you saw Mika Häkkinen secure his first title, which is a brilliant highlight. And moving on to his competitor into 2000, Michael Schumacher, claiming his first title with Ferrari, the first driver title Ferrari had secured since 1979, and the kind of in-laps he put in to overtake Mika Häkkinen in the pit stop stages of that to secure the title was pretty special driving from Michael. That was his only chance he was going to get to seal it, and he got the job done. Like he would go on to do multiple times in his Ferrari career, but it was a massive moment in Michael Schumacher's career and Ferrari career as well. And my last one goes to the man himself, Kimi Räikkönen, the first of our classic race reviews. We've plugged classic race reviews far too much in this video. We do apologise that we shamelessly promote our own content in our own videos. But if we're not going to promote it, who else is? That's going to be a new one. Who else is? Brilliant. Started 17th, had that battle with Schumacher and Alonso throughout, and then overtook Giancarlo Fisichella on the last lap, going into turn 1. Absolute brilliant overtake, brilliant commentary as well. What a moment, what a highlight for Kimi Räikkönen, and it is one of the best Suzuka Grand Prix ever, in my opinion.
It was an awesome race, awesome drive from Kimi.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic battle between Schumacher in a car that wasn't great compared to the better cars of Alonso's Renault and Kimi's McLaren, and there were some great overtakes in it as well. It was just, really brilliant race. But that's my highlights. But you've heard, our kind of points for the tracks. You've heard the stats. Not that that'd probably sway you either way, unless we're going for history. Which used to be come out, so I guess you have the history cards technically in the locker. But conclusion, which is the best track in your opinion, Stephen?
No doubt in this one, Silverstone. Bam. Drop mic. Job done.
Anything else on that? Just Silverstone.
Silverstone. That is incredibly fun to drive. That is the British Grand Prix. I know, there's something special about it. I love it. Whereas Suzuka, it's a great race. And it's had the drama there as well. Like you're saying, Schumacher, Räikkönen, Senna, Prost. Maybe Silverstone hasn't quite had that drama between drivers. But I love it.
I think this is a difficult one because what favours Suzuka in this one is when it's been in the back end and the title contending of, things that have happened at Suzuka have gone on and affected the driver's title. So the moments at Suzuka have meant more than Silverstone. And Silverstone, I think both produce great racing and both have kind of created difficult moments, and because Suzuka is difficult to overtake on. It's got that tense drama. And that technical difficulty, it does feel challenging. Both are kind of up there for drivers, I think, but a lot of drivers say that Silverstone is their favourite for a track, it's my favourite. What do I think is better though? I think if Silverstone was in the position that Suzuka's been for titles, I think we could have had some classic title deciders at Silverstone.
Yeah.
I think technically and for the history that it's had, Suzuka has been brilliant in F1, but so is the British Grand Prix, and it has the history. It's always do. But I'm going Silverstone as well because it means a lot to us, I think, as British fans, and I do think the consistent quality of racing does tend to be better for like on-track overtakes and just on-track battles as well. Silverstone as well, and it's showing off the cars at pace, which is, I think, always good.
Very quick circuit.
And Maggotts and Beckett's is just an incredible set of corners. The elevation at Suzuka is incredible, but it's more of a, so's Maggotts and Beckett's procession, but I don't know, it just, both are brilliant, both are absolutely great tracks, but going to hand this one to Silverstone.
Oh yeah.
I've agreed with you.
Another victory.
I've done it again, but I think my heart was always in Silverstone. I think I could just put a better case forward for Suzuka than you could, because it was like, Silverstone. Right, okay, I'll do Suzuka then. But anyway, we throw it back to you guys now, and want you guys to get involved in the comments. What wins the battle for you? Is it Suzuka Is it Silverstone? Which is the better Grand Prix? Absolute classics, both brilliant tracks. That's not up for debate here. But which one edges it? Which one is slightly better?
I feel like it's the heart versus the head.
It feels a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I can agree. But guys, if you're new around here, or if you haven't done so already, Stephen, what can they do?
They can like, they can subscribe, they can ding that bell.
Ding that bell. But that's it from us, guys. That's another track comparison. Obviously, it will be a series that maintains and continues on the channel, but with racing back and back-to-back races, obviously our previews, reviews and review podcast, live streams and F1 Fantasy Weekly will be taking priority during these times. So, yeah, we're going to lose out on them for a little bit, but when there's breaks between Grand Prix, you can bet there's going to be track comparisons and driver rivalries videos as well. But we hope you've enjoyed this one. But for now, you F1 fans, keep racing!